Welcome to Celebrate Aging. I'm Vicki Marthaler, your hostess here today on the Ecumen Detroit Lakes campus. And I have a very, very, very special guest, someone who I met when I first came to work here at Emmanuel, Char Christenson. And Char, you were the director of nursing, and I understand 30 years you have invested of your life in this place.
I have. A good place to be.
And now you're retired.
I am.
But we're celebrating our 50 years, of course, and talking to many employees, staff who have shared in the growth and the caring going on here. So can you tell us a little bit about what was it like to be the director of nursing here at Emmanuel?
That's really hard.
That's a loaded question.
Well, it went from doing a lot of care, making rounds with the doctors, talking with the residents, to sitting in an office and doing an awful lot of personnel work. Paperwork and so on, yes. So it was like comparing the two, like two different jobs from the beginning to the end. Yeah.
Things change. Isn't that the truth? That's only the constant in life, is things are changing.
Nursing home care in general has changed.
So tell me about the residents when you first started working here.
It was more like, I would call it a retirement home.
Okay.
People often came as a couple. If one needed the care, the spouse would often come.
Sure, because they're both the same age.
The same age, lived together all their life, and sold the farm, whatever, and moved here.
Okay.
And others, of course, needed care and would often be here for a very long time, many, many, many years, because there wasn't the services in the community that there are now.
Yes.
And so it was either home or nursing home. Now, when I left, the services had absolutely become available to everyone, most everyone, and only the very difficult care, those that were just needing care for a few weeks, maybe months, would come here. So the length of time went from many, many years to just weeks.
Sometimes. I think the average stay here now at the nursing home is a good average is 2 years.
Okay.
And that most of those people have a dementia, but so there are services, like you say, we offer services in the community so people can stay home longer. But of course we know people with dementia sometimes are physically well. It's just that they need, with their judgment and their memory issues, they need that supervision. Yes. So were you here then when it seems like we're always under construction and we're adding, when they added the memory care, were you here then?
Yes, the fourth wing.
The fourth wing?
Well, third wing. Added on to north.
Yes, northwest. It became the northwest.
Exactly.
If you remember, there used to be the west and the east and the north and the northwest.
For some of us, we have a hard time switching. Right, I was here. I can remember the first person that moved in there was a really special man, and he got his own room, and he was just thrilled.
Oh, I love it.
And then it was not a memory care at that point. It turned into that later on.
Morphed into that.
It was just another wing.
Okay. So when the nurses that were under your supervision, what are some of the changes that you've experienced? I know dress is one of them, right?
Yes. Dress has been a big issue, and it was an issue. I mean, we couldn't even wear slacks. We had to wear a dress, and it had to be at least so long.
Oh, I bet.
So that kind of thing has certainly changed, but also the skill of the nurse, the computer part of it. All of the nurses have to be able to be fairly efficient on the computer now, because the records are on the computer, everything is on the computer.
Sure.
And so, things have changed for not only in looks, but also in the skill level. It's been, I know now when people ask me about a medication, I don't really know about that one. It's all new.
Things do change. We get back to that changing thing.
Right. Everything has changed. And a lot of it for the good, really.
Yes.
I really think a lot of things are good.
when I first started, I remember Jeanette Wozniak was one of the nurses on the floor, and she still wore her white dress, and she wore a white hat. Yep. The little nurse's hat. And I remember there were residents who would say, "I want the real nurse."
That happened to me when for a little while, I think I did wear a lab coat. And I can remember going into a room and having more than one resident say, "Well, I want a nurse."
Oh, okay.
Try to explain it.
Perception.
Yeah, so that's the way nurses dressed forever. Until, maybe 20 years ago.
So then slacks came. I know, reading the history of Emmanuel, Hillman, who was the administrator, was the first one to allow housekeepers to wear slacks.
He was also the one that allowed us to wear slacks because thanks to Lee Ferber, it was also when the mini dresses were popular.
Oh.
And she got him to agree that slacks were better than mini dresses when you're taking care of someone. So, yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Yes, and it wasn't too many years before that was the main dress, and it was certainly a wise one.
Yes. So how many nurses were there at Emmanuel 30 years ago?
Two RNs.
Oh, two
and
RNs?
The rest were all LPNs.
Really? How many LPNs were there, do you think? Can you remember?
No.
No?
No, I don't remember. I know we never have more than one on a wing in the daytime.
Sure.
So, but then there were those part-time ones and days off and so on.
Of course.
There were not that many.
Well, we're 24/7, so we have to cover weekends and holidays and nights.
And one nurse took care of the entire night shift.
Really?
All the residents, yeah.
And
Which started out at 100, and then it turned to 144. We got 2.
Okay. And
But then they also covered lamplighter.
Oh, wow.
And so because in those days there was just lamplighter wings too, and we were the main caregivers down there.
Sure. Okay. So that has grown over the years, of course. And I think a lot of it is because, like you say, the residents have changed from being so independent to being more complicated care. And nurses are really required to give that care. So that has been a big change.
Yeah, and a lot more. Nursing assistants also because of the skill.
Sure, absolutely.
So that, a lot more.
Absolutely. One of the changes I know that's happened maybe within the last 15 years is restraints.
Yeah. Keep everybody safe. That was the goal. So we would restrain them in the bed if they attempted to get up on their own, side rails. Not a pleasant situation.
And that has changed.
A lot.
For the better.
Yeah.
For the better.
We were so worried at first that we would actually put mattresses on the floor, thinking we were keeping people safe. Maybe we were, but I don't know. It wasn't very dignified, and it was very hard for the staff.
Right, right. So now we're giving people more independence and being more attentive to them. I know that there's many different things you can do instead of tying somebody in a chair. There's many good things you can do to help them be independent and not be restrained.
That was a very important change in care.
I know the side rails on beds were a big thing for families. They felt like their loved ones would be hurt, and then we had to explain how sometimes people get tangled up in those bed rails and they get hurt more than if they weren't there at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of falls where no one got hurt. They sure felt better.
Well, I sure thank you for your 30 years of being at Emmanuel and giving good care. And I know that you're volunteering a little bit now too. And we
have a nice little group that we call it, I think we call it healthcare givers now. Different areas of healthcare. You start out as nurses, but there's a lot of people that did therapy and so on too. It was a good time. It's
nice.
really fun.
Well, thank you for continuing to be a part of our ongoing history.
You're very welcome. My privilege.
Char and I wish you a great day.